protect that girl, because she don't want to lose. She don't want to lose. You take control of it, y'all. Don't take me over there. I'm up there, big y'all.
Welcome to the Man vs. Mike podcast. It's your boy, Mr. Snapasode, back again with another episode for y'all. This one right here is a little bit more controversial, a little bit out of the element of what I normally talk about, but it was in the news, so why not, right? As always, please subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. So go subscribe to the Last But Not Least podcast. We got some big episodes coming up here for y'all shortly. Let's get into today's topic, right? And I don't normally talk about politics, but today we're going to talk about it. Joseph Biden.
Help me.
Sir, if you could, lend me your ear. Got a lot of issues going on here. Just yesterday, right, it was announced that Joe Biden and his staff, I don't know who on the staff, I don't know the appropriate terms, so before you guys try to ridicule me and persecute me for not knowing the appropriate terms, I'll kick a brick, right? So they're proposing a $118 billion bill. And I believe it's an aid bill to some degree. You know, they have like infrastructure and they have different names for these bills. I don't know what the hell the name of this bill is. I call it the free money bill, right? Because y'all just giving away free money. In this bill, they are proposing that we give Ukraine an additional $60 billion.
Here we go.
Let me say it again. An additional $60 billion. We have already given them, I believe, $168 billion.
I heard that.
This donation is set to have donated $250 billion to the Ukraine to aid them in a war that we aren't directly involved in. Somebody please make sense of this for me, because I can't seem to make sense of it. It's funny because in one spectrum, everybody's telling us all the money we don't have in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't feed the homeless. We can't help the veterans because we don't have the money to do so. And then yet, at the drop of a dime, we can come up with $250 billion to give to Ukraine. I mean, can anybody make sense of this shit for me?
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, we in here struggling. The American people are struggling. The inflation rate continues to climb. The average middle class people can't afford homes anymore because the interest rate has surpassed like 6 to 7%. The average home price now is $350,000. Like, the amount of income you need to make to be able to afford a house like that doesn't compute with what people are making on the streets. So to give you guys an example, I think the median income amount was like 52,000. It was like 48, but I believe it's like 52 now, right? But in order to afford a home that's over $400,000, you'd have to make at least $120,000 with the interest rates that they're proposing now. So who can afford these houses? Nothing but the hedge funds, right? So what they do is they come in and they buy up all this property. You have no choice but to rent it. So you can't afford to buy the home, but you can afford to rent the home. So now you're paying market rent or above market rent, which is, $25, $26, $700 for homes, you know what I'm saying, in some of these communities now. And it's just not affordable for the average homeowner. So I don't understand how we can just ignore the problems that we have going on here in America and then jump over to the Ukraine and present them with a golden ticket. Like, here's the answer. We'll step right on in and save you with the tax dollars of the people who are struggling back home in America. I think it's crazy. And I think this is just yet another reason why some Democrats are actually looking at the Republican Party and saying, can they be doing worse than what we're currently doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's a lot of people who are Trump naysayers. I get that. But you got to look at what Joe Biden has done, or what lack thereof, in his term and say, what the hell we've went backwards this entire regime, right? It is just for me personally. What happened to the student loan relief? I was waiting for the $10,000 student loan relief, and I've been waiting ever since. I never got it.
Gotcha,
you know what I'm saying? Like, when he first ran for campaign and for office, he didn't say that this was only going to be government workers he was going to try to present aid for. He said all lenders. I'm part of the all lender group. I would have loved to have some type of relief. You know what I'm saying? While you can send $250 billion to Ukraine, you could have applied that to our loans and you could have had billions of dollars left over. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have took $250 billion to wipe out that student loan debt, but yet you're going to give it to Ukraine. It bugs me. And I'm not saying that Trump's going to do that much different, right? But I don't see Trump getting into office, giving away $250 billion to a foreign country, right? I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, let's just keep it a buck. Joe Biden really hasn't shown the ability to finish sentences, much less run the country. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to take a step back here. And I get that religion and politics are two things that are generally handed down from generation to generation, right? You're a Christian because your grandma was a Christian. You're a Democrat because your grandma was a Democrat. That's usually how it goes, or grandfather, whichever. We got to start looking at the politics and saying, hey guys, does this work for us? Does it work for you and your household? You know what I'm saying? Like, stop looking at the person and what kind of politics and what kind of scandals that they're going to run during the campaign, because they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear to vote for the other person. Both of them are, right? So which candidate is going to speak to your financial demographic, and which one is going to uplift that demographic financially? That's who I lean towards all the time. I don't care about everything else that's going to come out in the media, because everybody has some type of dirt. If you got to vote for the lesser of the evils, to me, the lesser of the evils is the one that benefits me to be in office. Like, and the rich folks think the same way. So I think on a smaller scale, we have to start thinking the same way. Stop thinking about Democrats and Republicans. Start saying which one of these candidates actually represents me and which one is going to have, I'm going to say, my best interest at heart. We're going to have aligned interests, right? Where it behooves them to do this, and that actually helps me. That's kind of like how I use that and how I rationalize how I vote, not just for the American presidents, but the mayors, the governors, everybody. You know what I mean? It's about who benefits me and my family. If you don't benefit me and my family, then shit, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, respectfully. So I'll pivot from that, right? It's also alarming to me, you know what I'm saying, that we can give away $250 billion and then everybody primarily dismiss the idea of African Americans getting reparations in this country, right? The first thing they say is we can't afford to give out reparations. We would bankrupt the country, you know what I'm saying? But we built the country. And you can give away $250 billion to the Ukraine for a war, but you couldn't give away $250 billion to a people that you enslaved for 400 years?
You can't make this shit up.
So I thought to myself, how do you bridge that gap, right? You guys obviously don't want to give us the money for reparations, right? But here's a thought that I had the other day while I was on TurboTax. Why don't y'all just allow African-American people of African-American descent to live in this country tax-free for 400 years? You got free labor out of us for 400 years. Why wouldn't you just allow us to live tax-free, absolved of all taxes for the next 400 years? And if 400 is too big of a number, how about you start at 200, right? I think if you do that, African Americans as a people can begin to turn the corner financially, right? And one would argue you're not giving us any money. You're just letting us keep the money that we've already earned, right? So it kind of works on both sides, where the government doesn't have to come off any money, don't have to cut any checks, right? And we get 100% of the wages that we already make, because, damn it, I feel like we paid our taxes through slavery. Slavery should be the tax exempt team. You know what I'm saying? Like, however way you want to word it, I think that should apply to African American people whose families literally built this country and did not get compensated for it. So I don't know. If we could push that agenda, if we can find somebody who can champion this cause, a politician who's willing to say, I'd be behind that, please. And again, I say 200 years, but I think we'll be fine with 100, maybe 200. I mean, I know it's 400 years of slavery, but if you did 100 years tax-free, I mean, that's 10 generations, you know what I'm saying, that would be tax-free. And we would be able to take all of our wages, save them up, and be able to distribute them as we need to, make investments as we need to, become more financially stable, become financially educated. These are the things that we need, but it's hard to be financially educated when you don't make no money, when all your money has to go towards a bill so you can support your family. That's not really giving us a fair shot. So I would argue that African Americans living tax-free should be the next big campaign that we need to run. That's what we all should be pushing for. Tax-free African Americans, 2024, 2025, 2026, so on and so forth, right? That's what I'm looking for. I don't know. Y'all give me y'all thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Please comment below. Do you think will we ever get reparations? Do y'all think we'll ever actually get it? Will anybody actually say, yes, we're going to pay black people? Do you like the idea of subbing out reparations for just tax-free African Americans? Give me your thoughts underneath, comment, share below, and please subscribe to the channel, guys. I got more content coming from you as always. So y'all holla at your boy, man. It's Mr. Snapasode. And again, I'm out.